Except for that. Oh, no, that's that one. Let me see it. No, I haven't either. Okay, yeah.
Where do you want me, what do you sign? Just, I
Just a
don't,
line, I just kind of look it over and then,
I just put my initials.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, pass this down to, Ms. Washington here. I like to see that dump truck. Can you present that? Who brings this, who writes these things up?
Michelle does, Michelle does. She does.
Well, it doesn't tell you anything.
Yeah, all along.
Payment on a loan. I wish they'd put that down someplace.
Also, don't be the payments or the, I mean, either.
They thought that was for everybody, it's only for homeowners,
Sent me the list.
and it's only 1 of 10.
And I sent it to him.
Right, it's one line.
Yeah, because that's.
That's one small line.
Yeah, right,
Mostly we pay less than $1 increase.
yeah. As I said, I think a lot of people
But yeah, he.
who were talking about it really don't understand it. So I brought my bill with me.
I think Charlie.
Fortunately, that's done.
Did you want her to read this, sir?
No, she wanted me to read it. She gave that to me to read.
Oh, lying.
I'm not lying.
I mean, my girl.
There may be some that never seen one.
See, and I know.
There may be some that never seen one and didn't know all the different 10
Oh,
different.
yeah.
So I thought I'd bring mine and,
Smallest there is the library.
Is that me?
yeah.
Sign
This is Washington. So the article included O'Fallon, people
The
running.
school
All
district
the
is the
cities
best, the
that
biggest.
the paper coverage was included in that article.
Oh, okay.
So it wasn't just about.
Yeah, school district,
Oh, okay,
school taxes are usually.
They were all
highest.
Yeah, it's usually higher in
okay, wow.
in every city.
We don't have anything to do with the, water today, do we?
There you go.
With what?
Well, you could have, but we don't.
Yeah, and I don't
Water
subscribe
isn't
to
on
Herald,
this.
so I don't see what they were.
Water and
I don't
sewer will
know.
be on the
I
next.
don't know what they're doing.
Okay.
It's amazing the amount we use.
Oh.
George, is it?
What's that?
It's amazing the
What?
amount
Yeah.
of
I don't know.
that we do
I
use.
think it's time.
Yeah.
Okay. Calling to order the Lebanon City Council Committee's meeting for December 2nd, 2024. Roll call will be Washington. Stay here.
Here,
Branch,
here.
Whitty,
Here,
Trinka,
Here,
Farrow. Steve, I'm here. Stevenson is here.
Here?
Missed you. Davis, not here. And Bennett, not here. So that's on the record now. Moving on. Anything from the audience? Any audience participation audience? Okay. The alderman's not on here, so cemetery committee.
I still haven't heard from Carrie about the little medallion we're gonna put on the sign saying 1804 first burial. The grass looked like it's well cut today.
I guess so.
Whatever I could see anyway. No, nothing new.
Okay. Anything else for the cemetery?
Nope. Not that I know
From
of.
anybody else? Okay, moving on, ordinance. Discuss or recommend replacing handicap parking place on West St. Louis Street to near the crosswalk to ramp. Yeah, this is just, this is on a new one, this is the replaced one that was removed, because when we measured back, it eliminated the handicap parking place over there, and that's needed for the chiropractic office, if nothing else. So, basically, there is an ordinance that has to be we have to amend the ordinances to put that into place. Otherwise, the police department cannot issue a citation if somebody's parked there illegally. What do you think?
Now, is that handicap? But is that just for the chiropractic office or for anyone
Anybody
that can-
with a placard or a plate can park there. It was just for their, because there was not anything close by, they had requested a long time ago, and it was a long time ago, to have a place there, because they had so many patients who, had temporary or permanent placards and didn't have a place close by the park. The nearest, handicap spot is actually, on Pearl, the corner of Pearl. And it's on Pearl. It's at the corner of Pearl and St. Louis, but it is on Pearl. It's around the corner. So it's a good almost block away. And so we don't have that many handicap designated parking places in the district. So when we take one out, we need to put one back.
So is anywhere by the ramp on that side of the street where Pooch Place was, you telling me that there is no handicap?
On that side of the street, there is at the corner of Pearl.
But
Just
that's
inside-
far away, like you said,
Right,
because the ramp is more in between, the little restaurant and a little bit before the counseling place, kind of sort
right,
of.
it's in between
Yeah,
those
so.
two places. We can't put one any further east because that would be the area that we're supposed to leave open for insurance. So my
The
suggestion is,
insurance, you said? I didn't hear that.
well, because if we violate the recommendation of IDOT and we're not following their rules
Yeah.
and something happens because there isn't that merge area that's
Mhm.
required, then we would have a higher degree of liability. Because if somebody were to crash there because they were merging and crashed,
Mhm.
and they decide, well, I'm gonna sue somebody, and I'm gonna sue the city because they made it too narrow, too fast. We can say that's standard. And, well, we could probably go with immunity, but that's the problem. So the crosswalk that was removed was on the east, or the parking place that was removed was on the east side of the crosswalk. Now we would like to have it somewhere on the west side at the limit, wherever that limit is, the 100 feet.
Thank you.
Cody, you got it?
I do. You have the Google Maps side, so if you look here. This is where the crosswalk would be, and then if you can see, this is the main park, it's the ramp that goes to the main park. And
For wheelchair handicap, because somebody had to push them.
Oh, I know. We'd have to get pushed that far.
Next. So in front of the tapestry, or in front of the Grand Tonic, that would probably be best to put like 3 handicap stalls in there. And it allows them to go right into the handicap. If you put it too far down, then everybody. I only have one copy.
So that's good. 3 places, he say in front of Great and Tonic.
Three places, there's 3 parking places.
Yeah, to make them handicapped.
All 3 of them?
That's what, yeah, that way they can get to the ramp without having to backtrack and get hit. Because if those 3 parking spots are there, then they can cross the street, cause it's a walkway in there to get to the ramp across the street. That makes sense.
Yeah. But I didn't think you were gonna ask for 3 parking, we've already placed.
Well, you can't, well, the reason why because across the street where the ramp is at, you really can't get any parking spots there because like you said,
Right.
IDOT, and
Right.
it's too narrow. So you have to put them on one side of the street.
Well, we're not requesting, are you suggesting that we do
I
3?
would suggest that way that the handicap, you would have somewhere for the handicapped people to
Now, when
park.
that business opens, that Gritton Time business opens,
Ain't nothing they can do about it. It's
what that just
handicap.
said, we're strapping them with no handicap parking nearby.
You say you strapping them with no,
We're giving them a disadvantage
how?
because they won't have as much parking available to patrons.
Well, they patrons have to park like everybody else patrons parking, like on the parking lot or on the street, like when Mr. Wilkins came up in the counseling center, new business came up, and they was talking about they want an extra parking spot. You can't make everybody, but you trying to make a way for the handicapped people. You know what I mean? Everybody can't park in front of
Are you
everybody's
suggesting,
building.
I think if we make the 3 spots in front of what would be, or what was Grit and Tonic, would allow people that are handicapped, once they come out of the vehicle, they can go with the flow of traffic to the ramp. If you pull it up on a Google Maps, there's only one ADA ramp in front of the mini park, and that would allow them to go to the chiropractor. I would say at least have 3 to fulfill that spot up there. If you're going to the chiropractor and you're probably not handicapped, maybe you just hurt your back once, but we want to make sure people that are going because they are handicapped have closer accessibility to the chiropractor than somebody that maybe just hurt their back once. Yes,
And
ma'am.
not only that, you have apartments up over the chiropractor.
Correct. Now, the ordinance
And
should read,
And the problem that I had, I used to live up there. And the chiropractor thought that handicap slot was just for his customers.
oh, okay.
So we would go round and round because he didn't want me parking there within a certain time frame. And you can't do that. Handicap is handicap.
Correct.
Right.
So I think it will work out better the way Cody is saying. It'd be enough for everybody.
So you're saying the recommendation should be for 3 handicap spots
Yeah.
directly west of the crosswalk?
Correct.
Okay,
If anything east of that crosswalk would be in the IDOT's recommendation of not having it,
Of no
and pulling the
parking.
signs.
Mhm.
Maybe we can get something out on the paperwork that reminds people that, if you live in an apartment, that if I'm not mistaken, maybe I can be corrected on this, you do not have the right to park in the parking lot nor the street. You were supposed to have adequate parking for your rental properties, as Mr. Ron Chamey's probably been told a million times for his own property as well. So people need to remember, if you park out front overnight,
But I
So-
couldn't do all.
right, no, I understand.
So it's easier, there's less steps in the front than in the back.
Right,
So that's why I had the.
Right. Thank you.
okay. So is the recommendation for 3 parking places? I have to get an ordinance written.
Yes, 3.
Because
Do we need 3 handicap? And that's a lot.
you said you can't get them across the street in front of Grid and Tonic, nowhere near the ramp, not a one, except the one on the corner. Can the one on the corner be narrowed down? No. Well, I guess that's the only way.
This seems like that's excessive.
That's really not enough, considering, that it's the uptown areas. Mr. Trinka, and there's nowhere else for a person to park. to be able to get out their car and kind of walk a short distance, because if they park on that little parking lot, it's still gonna put them a little
Yeah.
further out, so it just depends.
No, I agree that they need more, but it just seems excessive, you know, and with. We're taking out just about all the parking places are close up there, you know. And I don't know how many handicap use that on a daily basis.
Well, a lot of people handicapped nowadays, well, not saying that in a good way, because they either have a cane or something. But it'll be to their advantage that it will be something for them, because all the other ones be taken up, all the other spots. 3 spots not long, a lot.
I mean, we have a lot of handicap, they could be parking all the way down on St. Louis Street on the 200 block too.
You say if we have a lot of them,
I mean, we could have someone in 200 block, you know, close to Pearl, so that would be.
But not for the chiropractor, not in the 200 block.
As I said, I don't use those spots, so I can't appreciate it. Maybe some of you do, so.
I don't use them, but there's only one area, the grid and time, right? Because we don't have any more other ones, am I correct?
What, handicap spots?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
there's one here, and there are two here in our
I
parking
thought
lot.
I've seen
There's
some,
one
but you
in
got me
front, there's,
thinking.
there are 2 handicap places, near the dental office.
Okay. so
There
we
is,
got some.
yeah,
Don't go down the hill.
no, it's right in front,
The first two.
first in front,
off the.
and there is one down the hill.
I think they probably need to be a little more highlighted. Can we highlight them on the brick street with
We
the
can't.
stripes? Well, we can't do that.
we can do the curve, not the brick.
All right, we're doing the curb.
Yeah, the curve part,
Cody and I have discussed doing the curbs.
yeah.
We're gonna put the.
And we can limit it to also, Mr. Trinket, to 2 parking spots and then, it's always easier to add one.
Right,
So maybe correct myself here. Maybe I'll retract that and say, let's do 2. And then if we need to add another one, we can.
if we did 2, that would give us a chance to see how much it needed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if there are 3 and they're always full, we know, because if 2 and they're always full, then we have to consider, do we add one? Then, it would have a serious, significant impact if somebody wanted to buy that restaurant and reopen. I understand there's somebody negotiating right now. And would be a disadvantage for a business in town, and I have a handicap placard. Not because I'm for it or against it, I'm definitely for it, but we don't wanna put potential business at a disadvantage by not having parking, even though there's a parking lot right next door. But to have the ability for somebody to park in front. And they still couldn't park in front, it's still gonna be a handicap, so we don't wanna use that entire area. My suggestion, and recommendation is no more than 2 handicap spots in that area. Cause that would be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
And not blocking the front door of the
Right.
grid and time.
There are 6 within the 2-block area.
George, I should know this, but I don't. Is there a time limit on the handicap, parking spaces?
The handicap parking places have the same time limit as any other parking place.
We need somebody to go around, because there's an awful lot of handicapped people, that, not necessarily here, that have handicap signs, but they're obviously not handicapped, they're using their aunts or uncles or other
Right.
relatives.
Yeah, they do that all over the place.
Yeah. And,
And you can't question it.
no, no,
Only time you can question it is if, the passenger gets out and the driver doesn't. Then you can ask the driver if, who is the placard or plate registered to? Because it's supposed to be whoever it's registered to is, can exit the vehicle and stick there. It can't be somebody else.
You mean that guy with the big long thing?
Would you?
But if you read the ordinance on, not the ordinance, state law on handicap placards, only the person to whom the handicap placard or handicap plate is registered to may use that parking lot, parking place. That means if somebody pulls up there and drops off drops off a person and they're not a handicapped person, they're dropping off, then, it's a violation. The person who has the disability must be, in essence, actually using the parking place. And it's written a different way in the state law, but that's what the law interpreted says. So, just because I have a handicap placard in my car, I can't tell my son to run up here and park, oh yeah, park there and use my placard, can't do it.
Not if you're not getting out the car,
If I'm not getting out of the car.
but if you are getting out the car, he can do that.
Yeah, he can get, well, he's with me.
I know.
I'm the one who's driving the car and owning a placard and getting out.
But what if you're not driving and he's driving?
Doesn't matter, it's whoever gets out.
But if you get out, it's okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's what I thought.
if I get out, then it's in use for my purpose of being able
But
to.
if the handicapped person don't get out and they use the placard and the handicapped person is in the passenger seat and the driver get out and he's not handicapped and running the drugstore or whatever to get your prescription,
It's a
he's doing
violation.
wrong.
It's a violation.
Yes, that's understandable.
But that's, it's almost impossible to enforce it, because you'd have to be sitting there watching.
Yeah, you would have to be the pop.
You know, that happened to me before. An individual was driving, I was in the passenger seat, this guy came up. When the individual got out of the car, I was still sitting in the passenger seat, he showed his badge. And then he said, oh, there's somebody else in the car, and he turned and walked away,
Yeah.
and it was my placard, I
Uh-huh.
was still sitting in.
See, technically, he was correct. He should have ticketed the car. Because you did get out. The law could be interpreted, there's a, minor. The law is a law, but the thing is, we're not discussing that. What we're discussing is whether we're gonna put parking places. My recommendation is to. Now, let's see.
Not to put one in front of the grid and tonic.
Well, the two of them will be right there together.
Okay.
It don't matter to me.
Okay. So what do you say, Charlie?
Two sounds good to me.
Okay. Dale, two.
Yeah.
Yeah, cause you said the three was excessive.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll ask, Mike to write up a, ordinance for two places, because a person could park there, go across the street to the restaurants and businesses across the street. Because there's the coffee shop now and, gas house. And I don't know what's going in next to the coffee shop. All right. So I'll take care of that one. I have nothing else for ordinance. Anybody else have anything? Okay, public property.
What we have to discuss in public property, we agree that it have to be an executive.
Closed session, right?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll discuss the lease and closed session.
More part.
Streets and alleys,
Well, it's on here, it looks like they still requesting some, additional parking spaces in front of 107, 109, and 111.
right, we've been discussing this for a while.
And they can't be done.
Oh, it's because of the parking, because of this, because of IDOT's regulations. But, Cody, do you have anything different on 107, 109, 111? On St. Louis, West St. Louis Street, on the other side of the street?
No, I mean, that area is pretty well defined here. You don't need to have it. I'm kind of tricky on that side because there is an actual area where you can park. But it's, on the legend here, it says one inch and 20 feet. I don't know rule or present, but if you look on the other side, there's no parking. No parking pretty well, the whole north side, on that 100 block, and then it's maybe. I'm gonna take a stab at it without measuring, maybe 18, 20 feet for the curve for semis that they come around. So that side, I think, is pretty well already handled. I think those are in the right place.
So there's no parking between the ramp, the handicap ramp up to the upper level sidewalk and the corner, correct?
Right, so if you take the crosswalk that goes from the mini park, which is where everybody takes the pictures with the
Right.
gazebo, and it cuts across to the handicap ramp, anything to the east of that cannot be parked.
Okay, so that closes that issue.
So then I have a question because I had a discussion with someone and from my understanding, I believe that's why they asking for those parking spaces because across the street have parking spaces that shouldn't be there.
Yeah, if you refer back to when Mr. Wilkin was here, I do believe he did,
Yeah.
I can't quote him on it, but I think he said that he had given it to the chiropractor at his time of, mayor, when he was mayor. And he did, I think he said he, for conflict of interest, because he was mayor, Wilkins Insurance, he did not give himself parking spaces at that time.
And then not only that too, because I go to the chiropractor and they have more parking now. In the back.
Okay,
And then because that building is down, so now you can come through the side through the garden. Or you can park in the back and walk up both ways. So my point I'm trying to make is that, what was done might have to be, I don't know how many parking spots it is and how far it goes up from the building. I know sometime when I go, I park in front of that building, so, or are you saying that it looked like it's only 2 parking spaces? Or are you saying those 2 parking spaces shouldn't be there? Or are they too far up? Cause I'm confused.
so the sign, the reason why it looks like there's able parking is that the signs were taken out for the concrete to be put in. And we use, Crisp Asphalt, they have a machine that cuts down and we put our signs back in, and then we seal that off. They haven't had time to come up and cut it, and now that it's in the cold season, it's kind of hard to use a diamond tip blade that uses water during the cold. So once we were gonna add that back, and then we started the discussion of, it actually worked out kind of pretty good. Mr. Wilkin approached us not even, I guess, 2 weeks after we talked to George about putting that sign back. And, so once we started talking about it, George and I had spoke about if we give them parking on the south side by the chiropractor, it's a no-brainer. We can't not have parking on the north side, but, you know, again, it's our road. Mr. Wilkin is right. It is your choice as council to make it. My recommendation would be have no parking on the east side of the crosswalk at all, just so that we're covered. But again, that's something you guys decide differently on. I just need to know so I can put the request order in to get the holes drilled for these sign placement. But as of right now, the sign's not there, nor is there no parking sign, but as soon as we make the decision, I can put some concrete in, we can get a sign back up pretty quick.
I would say basically, I don't know what you all, but to put it back, because if not, we gonna keep going through them keep asking for parking spaces. I don't know.
We just close it by just saying, nothing's gonna happen, it's gonna remain the way it is right now. No additional parking over there. And, doesn't require any ordinance or anything, it's just done.
Yeah, and to the other side, yeah, but we are gonna put.
But we have to have ordinance for the 2 handicap places.
But are we gonna put the sign back up?
Well, the signs will be put back up as soon as we pass the ordinance. And we can put the signs up, we'll also be taping the curbs blue. So that they know, because for example, the second handicap spot in front of Brewers, nobody obeys that sign there because they think that sign's for that one spot. It's parked between the signs for handicap parking because it was only the signs. So now we're gonna make the curbs blue. And the blue curb indicates handicap parking.
Okay, but I'm talking about across the street at the chiropractor, we gonna take care of that.
They're not gonna have any parking there.
Okay, that's all, I just wanna make sure.
That's just, unfortunately.
Well, I believe there's still enough parking.
There's enough parking, just if somebody's gonna be using Wilkins or the counselor, they're gonna have to walk a distance if they can't get parking. In front
Right
of
in
Gast House,
front.
because they'll be parking right there in front of Gast House, all the way to the corner of the Gast House and the coffee shop and whatever else is gonna go in there. That is when they have parking on the street. We're not reducing any additional
Are
parking.
we making it safe? Because it is tight up there at that corner.
Oh, it is safe. It is tight. And if a person parks in front of that ramp, you almost can't get out the door because if you have a wide door and your car is gonna hit the concrete. Okay, so that issue will not go forward any further than now. That, you agree with that? Okay. Unfinished business, any additional streets and alleys? Or move on. Unfinished business. Any further discussion on the ambulance contract?
I'm waiting on, some more information. Luann, have you heard from Mike? He was supposed to be, getting some information for me.
Mike who?
The
Oh, the lawyer?
Again,
I know a lot of Mikes. What were you waiting on?
He was just supposed to get some information on
I haven't
contract.
heard from Mike.
You haven't heard anything this week about contracts?
No.
Okay, well, I
He,
guess,
the only thing he emailed me, statements asking if that was the most recent one, and I said, yeah.
with the contract? Yeah, okay.
I said, it's the most recent one, it just rolled over, and we still have that contract.
Well, I guess we have to wait till next week when he's here.
Yep.
Well, probably, you can email him.
or call
Okay,
them.
I'll email him and say something about the contract. How's it coming?
Right,
How's that?
that'll work.
Okay.
Okay, does anybody have anything else?
Yeah, I just wanna talk about the bill that we discussed the last time, the 3.0 increase in our tax. I think there may have been some people who thought that was just your overall tax. I brought my tax bill to show all the 10 different items, which includes the school district, library, Lebanon Road and all. And I think this last year, our increase from 22 to 23 looked like $8 or $6.35. And so but this year, our taxes, that was the tax at 3.965, I think it was, something like that. So if anybody wants to see it, has never seen a tax bill for, you have to own property to be able to get one of these bills, which would mean we're getting charged 3.0% increase for 2025. So if anybody wants to see it, I've got it here. And you can see what the charges were for all the 10 different organizations within our municipal area that we pay for. I'll just leave it out here. Somebody wants to look at it and see what it looks like. If you haven't seen one, be happy to have you look at it.
At least I talked to
Can I say
him.
And I just want people to understand that this increase is not gonna be sufficient, so this is the problem. I got a bill today for our muni code website and our ordinances and updating it, and it said one section will probably go up 20%. Another statement was, and this section will go up 20 to 30%. So our bills are going up. So I hope people don't think that we were trying to, rip the taxpayer off. We're just trying to keep our head above water on some of these bills. So that I just want everybody to understand our bills are going up astronomically.
Everybody.
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 But, if you don't have it, you don't have it.
What's next?
Is it, are we to new business?
Yes, we're in new business.
I have a short one. We were talking today, we have people dropping these big dumpsters on the street. And we don't have any regulations on how that can be placed on the street, how long it can stay on the street, how it's supposed to be,
Contained.
striped with cones around it. I've got one sitting over here that is like a whitish color, so it's not easy to see. And there's nothing on it. There's no reflective anything on it, just a telephone number. So I called them today and I did tell them that they need to call back. First of all, they need to tell us that they're dropping it and where they're dropping it, because if something happens and we don't know it's there, I don't know what the liability for the city is if we didn't tell them that they couldn't put it there. Yeah, so we're just trying to cover the city. And so we probably need to come up with an ordinance that explains how we can put these on the streets or on their yard or whatever, and how they have to be marked. So,
I thought we already had an ordinance since
So,
they
look it
got
up.
that one down there on Fifth Street.
We
Didn't
did
you
a,
have one?
well, we did a special use permit for one on, Shute Street. When, there was some construction, household construction, remodeling being. That change, there is something in the ordinances about parking those things on the street. I'm trying to look it up, I'm not going fast enough.
I get what Ms. Luann's saying and the one that's on Herman. With that, and it's a grayish color. And I understand what you're saying, because somebody can run into them, and in our ordinance, we can put, if they're gonna bring them, they need to be striped. They need to be basically, they really need to be striped like the school bus, like on the sides and the corners. That way, when people are coming up on them, they do see them, because you cannot see them because they do blend in. So that's something too that the company should want to do for
We need some
safety.
kind of reflection.
They do need some reflection.
Well, I'll talk to Mike and see what we come up with, and maybe get something on next week's, agenda that doesn't require.
I mean, obviously it's been going on, so there's no,
There's no
emergency
rush.
type thing.
Yeah.
But I wanted
It
you
seems like
to know that that's something that came up in the office today.
It seems like it's happening more too.
Well, people buying property and they be gutting out a lot of these homes around here, I've noticed, and they're been bringing out the big ones. And, which is a good thing, because it's, people are buying old homes and fixing them up and gutting them out, and that's what you want.
All right. This is a quick report, as of just before the meeting tonight. There have been 28 passed exams on the harassment. 28 individuals have completed the process.
Yeah, and the sheet that they sent out is good. It's got one section that has everybody's name on it, and has all your email addresses, and I can click on there and print your certificate pops right up,
So
so,
if you brought in, you got them.
yeah.
Okay.
It's in there. I could print you out a pretty one for your file. We don't need it because we already have a copy of it.
Okay, well, remember, I gave you the copy I had last week.
Yeah, and I gave it to Michelle,
Okay.
so I'll print
So
it out.
I'm
in a-
pretty,
Okay,
So George, how many more people need to, do it?
my guess is somewhere
I
around
need-
30.
So you got 30 and you can.
We're only about halfway there.
Okay.
We have several members of the plan commission have completed it.
Okay,
Most of the councils completed it. Bunch of the employees have completed it. There are 3 who completed, the supervisor, the mayor, Penny and Cody completed the supervisor, training. I'm on there twice because I did it before it was ever open, when I was testing it.
Yeah, you gotta do it twice, huh?
So
Okay.
I have not been official one in there too. Okay,
Well, let's go home.
I wanna get one of mine erased so that we don't lose, lose a test. You only have 100. If there is no further business, then this meeting is adjourned.
Hey, good.
38 minutes.
All right.
I don't think that's a record yet.
No, the record, I think, is 25 minutes.